Hey everybody, welcome to Higher Love Letters. I have another beautiful, powerful message. I'm going to number this number 17. And I don't really know what it's called yet. I probably should think about that before I get into these. I keep forgetting to do that. But this is from Marilyn Monroe. It's very beautiful and touching, and I was really in her energy. Today I have been lately channeling messages just from like the higher self of people that are living and from their spirit guides and some guidance and things like that. But I really felt called to try to channel a message from somebody who's already passed and kind of was open to receive a message, and Marilyn Monroe's face came into my mind. I don't know much about Marilyn Monroe. After this beautiful message, I did some research on her, which makes a lot of sense. And this is really long, and honestly, the notes are so messy. Like, I feel like in her life, she was just kind of all over the place. And after you hear kind of like her life story, you'll probably understand why. And she definitely had, a energy about her where she was kind of iconic, like a sex symbol, and definitely portrayed as such. But I'm getting like she was a very, very sensitive, empathetic person, and her spirit guides were really, really strong in her life, trying to show her unconditional love and trying to help her to come back home to herself. And she just had a lot of traumas happen to her. And I was really called to drink my lemon water out of this particular cup today, which is really weird. Like, the silicone is super soft and silky, but it's pokey. Which is like very contrasting energies, which is kind of funny. I know it's not that big deal, but lemon water definitely helps clear, your organs and energy and stuff like that. So I felt like in her life, she just took on a lot of other people's energy, and a lot of things happened to her, and she was kind of struggling to find her way. And she's in the energy of 8 right now, or her energy is speaking of 8 right now, which is all about power and spirituality, I thought, but it's definitely, the number 8 is all about symmetry. If you want to take a picture of this, symmetry, power, determination. Like, this is her energy, ambitious and wielding her power responsibly. I feel like she had a lot of power in her own right back in the 50s and 60s, but she may not have known how to wield it responsibly. And a lot of people are trying to understand her life. There's a new documentary about her called Blonde in 2022 now on Netflix. I haven't seen it. I really want to now after channeling this. And people have, oddly enough, discovered who her real father is, and they've done a DNA test in 2022. I don't even know how or why that came about, but it seems like, people that have passed on, we're still trying to understand them and learn about their life, and their energy is still very much present and with us. And I truly believe that souls don't go away. Their energy never goes away. It can only be transformed or healed. And I feel like she's really coming through in a lot of power and structure. Actually, knowing how to affect the change of planets in the world and growing in expansion. Like, I feel like that's where her soul is at right now. Back in, in her actual life, I feel like she was very chaotic energy. She wasn't sure how to wield her responsibility that came with her, and her power as a divine feminine energy. I feel like she definitely was taken advantage of as well. So like I said, I feel like this was her heart space and her solar plexus, like her personal power, self-confidence was really, really affected in her life, like, which also affected her feeling safe. Her heart space, she had a lot of traumas in her life. And if you don't know much about numerology, why I the whole time I was doing her channeling, I kept wanting to add up numbers. Like, I looked at the clock and added up the numbers, and I got like 5 and 7 and 8 and 9 and like all the higher numbers. So I feel like she's cycled through a lot of soul energy and getting to the point of like the 8, which is like I said, the power, determination, and wielding power responsibly, infecting change in the planet and the world. But I really believe she was highly misunderstood. That's what's coming through a little bit. I just kind of channeled a little bit about her, and then this beautiful message came through. I feel like the need to talk about her life before I get into the message from her, so I will definitely let you know when I'm channeling actually from her. But I was just feeling very deeply moved about who she is as a person, and when I read about some of the things she's been through, like she really, her angels and spirit guides were really trying to work with her. Like I said, a lot of number synchronicities were coming up, and like I really felt the need that had she been able to clear energy better and not absorb energetic transfers from people. I definitely kind of popped up a Reiki video, Reiki to protect energetic transfer. If you don't know what that is, it's like, well, like in science, it's just the, you know, the transfer from one system to another, like through transferring heat, a movement of energy from one place to another. Positive energy can also, negative energy can be transferred as well. And in like a human form, human energy, we exchange energy through physical touch or experiences. Even just holding somebody's hand can provide a concentration of energy. But I felt really guided to look up what, you know, energy transfer is. And then I kind of was, you know, and through our sexual energy, that's a huge space where energy is transferred. Soul information, emotions are exchanged here. So the more partners that you have, the more you're taking on their energetic signature and things they've been through, their traumas, their wounds, other partners that they've had. So because she was kind of a sex symbol, and she was married a lot of times, and she had a lot of things going on in her childhood, her mom, like she didn't know who her real dad was. Her mom ended up getting diagnosed with schizophrenia and was in a mental hospital. And then she was in and out, a mental ward, and then she was in and out of foster care and orphanages her whole entire life. So there was a lot of energy transferring there with a lot of pain and trauma. And although she appeared as a very bubbly, warm, feminine energy on the screen, like I do feel like her inside was real bumpy. Like she had a lot of harsh experiences that at a soul level, who she really was kind of just soft and warm and nurturing, but she had a lot of harsh things that which might have caused her to be harsh and make choices out of a lot of fear-based energy and abandonment wounds and rejection wounds and stuff like that. And I'm literally, this is like 9 pages and it's all over the place. So I'm not sure how much I want to delve in before it gets too long. I'm already at 7 minutes, which is interesting. Like I said, the 7, 8s, and 9s kept coming up. And when I was done channeling this message too, is 12:59, which breaks down to a 17, which breaks down to an 8. Again, another 8. And I was called to paint my nails purple today, and I got dark purple on my toes. So that's a very spiritual energy. So again, I feel like she was misunderstood in her life, and that she was a kind of an angelic type of being, a divine feminine energy that just didn't know how to channel it right, and was taken advantage by a lot of masculine energies, maybe even female, and was portrayed in the media and cast as certain roles to be a sex symbol. But that's not what the healed feminine energy is really all about, right? Wielding that beautiful, nurturing feminine energy is sensual, but it needs to be protected and guarded. And I'm not sure that she was able to do that in her life, but I feel like her soul is at that place now, and her story is really important, and us understanding who she was at a human level is really important. People watching her story on Netflix, I don't know how true it is, you know, it's the media, but our stories are really important. Our soul stories are important, whether you were passed away 50 years ago, 1 year ago, or if you've yet to pass. Like, we are who we are, and what we come here to learn is really important. And so I feel like if she could have learned how to control her energy better and guard her energy and her heart and her body and her sexual energy better, she might not have had such a tragic ending. She overdosed on, I believe it was sedative drugs. They think it was a suicide, but you know, she was really dealing with a cumulative load of a lot of abandonment and rejection, and she had a couple miscarriages, and I know she had an abortion that really affected her. If you don't think abortion can affect you emotionally, mentally, you're misled. Making soul level decisions like that are so huge, especially when it's impacting something you're growing in your physical womb, which is all about your creation energy. It all matters. So one of the tips, some of the tips I kind of came across when I was researching her, was to control your energy, to control your, this is from health.harvard.edu, to help control your stress, lighten your load, exercise, avoid smoking, eat things that give you energy and fuel, use caffeine to your advantage, and limit alcohol. And I'm not sure if she was able to do that, you know, like just drugs. And I'm sure being a celebrity, she was around a lot of alcohol, and the stress load, I know, took a huge toll on her. Plus, she had a lot of traumas from when she was little. It's got to be pretty traumatic to not know who your dad is, and your mom's in a mental ward, and then being in orphanages and foster homes and then get into fame at that late, you know, and later in your life, and then not know how to handle it. I know that's a huge stressor for a lot of people. And then 7 ways to improve spiritual wellness. 1, being explore your spiritual core. 2, look for deeper meanings in things. 3, get it out, like get out what you're feeling, journaling, writing. 4, trying yoga, which is all about getting into your body and feeling safe in your body again. 6, think positively. And 7, take time to meditate. I feel like she didn't have any of these spiritual practices to learn how to heal her wounds, to go within, to be safe in her body. She appears to have been somebody that, like, she jumped from relationship to relationship, needed a lot of outside validation instead of looking within. And although there isn't an energy sensing organ that you can feel, by opening up and focusing your mind and flowing energy through that way, your senses belong to your body, and it's often easier to sense the energy from inside your body first. And I just feel like I felt when I was channeling her, I was kind of all over the place. I was definitely in her energy. At first, I was on my rocking chair out front, and I was kind of absorbing the sun. I thought, this is great. I love the sun. And then I couldn't stand that anymore. And then I went to my back deck or shade. And then I got really agitated there. And then I went in the house. And then I went upstairs. Like, I was all over the place in her energy. So I feel like anytime she started to feel uncomfortable, she moved. Anytime something happened, you know, instead of healing it, well, even it seems like in her relationships, from what I've researched, like anytime there was trouble, somebody abandoned her or rejected her, or she left or moved on, or like had an affair, or so it was like a lot of, oh, I got these feelings, I don't know what to do with them, so I bail or I run. And like, I think the call for her that her spirit guides were trying to show her in her life is to go within and to get away from the noise, get away from people and external validation, and heal within. To feel her body. I don't feel like she was safe in her body. Yeah, and she was hold on a second. I'm not sure if I still need to say everything. Interestingly enough, even though Monroe's mother didn't want anything to do with her and was schizophrenic and had her own issues and was in a mental hospital, Marilyn Monroe took care of her financially every month of her life when she was, you know, famous, and had her manager look out for her up until her death. So it just shows the type of person that she was, just very caring and loving. That's who she was at her core. And I just wrote down, I got really, really sad channeling this. I just wrote, who was looking out for her? Because even she had multiple marriages. Joe DiMaggio supposedly regretted dumping her. He got jealous of a movie she made where she was in her underwear. I know. I just feel like she was always abandoned, and she never received the love that she so freely gave to others. And supposedly Arthur Miller, her last husband, was the only person she said she trusted, and he too abandoned her. And she found a letter that he wrote saying he was only going to ever love his daughter, and he regretted marrying her. That she was dependent, unpredictable, and pitiable. And so that was a really low point for her, because again, she thinks finally, I mean, I can only imagine, but I think she's like, finally, Arthur's the one that's going to love me the best and the way I deserve, right? And he too abandoned her. Like I wrote down that she just put her faith in people, and people kept leaving her and abandoning her and disappointing her. And so I just opened up myself to Marilyn, and I just said, I'm here. What do you want to say? Back to Joe DiMaggio, though. Sorry, all over the place. You know, he dumped her too because of jealousy of a movie. But when things were going on in her other marriage, she did call him, and they stayed, and he helped her, and they did stay close. But he has been quoted as saying he regrets dumping her and felt a lot of guilt. And I guess he sent flowers to her grave 3 times a week up until he died, and was quoted as saying on his deathbed, like, at least I'll get to see Marilyn Monroe. So she definitely made an impact on the people in her life. And, you know, that's the beauty of feminine energy. It does impact the masculine energy, whether you're male or female, the gender doesn't matter. But she did make her soul imprint in a certain way in the men that she and the people that she loved and her fans, and she was funny and beautiful and sensual. And so she was a kind of an icon for femininity and sensuality. I just feel like it was taken advantage of, and she didn't know how to channel it right. And her greatest fear, I've read, that was in disappointing those she loved. So that's definitely the people pleasing part of the feminine energy is definitely from trauma, unhealed trauma wounds, childhood wounds, and that is the people pleasing and the fear like you're not good enough, and the fear of, it's good to not want to disappoint people, right? But when the fear of disappointing others becomes greater than you disappointing yourself or abandoning yourself or rejecting yourself, that's when it's out of balance, right? When the focus is on outside of you instead of within you. Like, I just feel like she simply couldn't handle it. Like I said, a lot of number synchronicities. Her spirit guides are all over this, and we're with her in her life as well. I just don't feel like she allowed herself to sit and be in her body and in her thoughts and feel what she needs to feel to heal. I feel like they were calling her to do that, and I just felt really emotional during this. I just cried a lot. Like, I just don't feel like she was seen and loved because of who she is. Not because of anything that she does or she can provide others, or so I feel like her soul really wanted to be seen and heard, and her story is important and it's I felt like this message was for all the girls and women who are struggling with radical self-love and acceptance, and that's what she's calling all of us to do. So the message, here you go. This is from Marilyn Monroe, 1650 on the clock. And what does that add up to? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 breaks down to 3. Body, soul, mind. 3 is all about synergy of the body, soul, mind, and the Trinity. And if you're Christian, just things coming together in perfect balance. I feel like that's where she's at right now at a soul level. So she's healing, and whatever process that happens when the soul and the body dies and the soul expands and gets to be in unconditional love again, she's remembered who she really is at a soul level, and here she's still here to teach us so many things, and we're still trying to understand her life, right? 2022 is where we're at right now, and documentaries are being made about her. So it's really important that we understand her and don't misunderstand who she was. And it's really easy to get swayed by what the media tells you right on the screen, what kinds of roles they're portrayed in, but the heart of who people are as a human being can only come from their own soul. And it's really important not to misjudge somebody. And I didn't know much about her, but I'm so thankful I got to be here to channel this message from her. So here it is from Marilyn Monroe. Beautiful. It's really for all the ladies out there. Men, you can definitely listen and take some heed into this, because this is how you should treat the ladies in your life, whether it be your mother, your daughter, your wife, and to show up as the kind of man who's going to honor and cherish this kind of woman. But this is for the ladies primarily. Beautiful, precious girls. If only you knew how valuable you are. Your Creator made you. You are fearfully and wonderfully and perfectly made. And it's not because of what you do, what you look like, because of who in your life values you. You are precious simply because you exist, simply because you are. You will go through things that are painful, and the things may trick you into believing that it's your fault. People may abandon you, and you may begin to think that you deserve it. People may betray you, and you may believe it's because you aren't worth loving. You may make decisions that hurt you because you believe in others' opinions instead of believing in your own. You may not feel comfortable in your own body, so you choose to give it away to someone else. You may feel lost and look to others to validate you. You may want to do all these things, but don't, dear girl. Just don't. Don't give yourself away so easily. Don't betray yourself so easily. Don't abandon yourself so easily. Get to know your own light before you let others sit underneath it to soak it up. Get to cherish your own heart before you let someone else benefit from its goodness. Get to love your own body before you let others benefit from its softness. Get to love your own embrace before you let another be nurtured by its warmth. In order to go that route, you need to get away from people for a while. You need to get on your own so you can listen to your soul and let your true self emerge without noise and distractions. Get strong in who you are before others try to tell you who you are and who you ought to be. Just like the kids nowadays are saying, you are not free salsa. You are guac, baby. You are guac. If you've been messing this up so far, it's okay. You can start now. Tell yourself you are sorry for not looking out for you and make the vow to start now. Okay, that's the end of the channeling from Marilyn Monroe. Wow, what a beautiful message for all of us ladies out there to just remember what unconditional love is and what it looks like. And, you know, sometimes you have to go through a lot of heartbreak and what you don't want and people betraying you and abandoning you to get you alone. I just don't feel like she ever got herself to that place where she could be okay on her own and heal and be with her spirit guides and her angels and feel that unconditional love within herself. And, you know, anytime that she did take a break, it sounds like, in her life to heal after miscarriages and stuff like that, you know, other people traumatized her. They left her and abandoned her in her time of need. I just feel so sad for her because I've been through things like that and betrayals and abandonment and wounds like that. And it's really hard to go within and be alone and to be okay on your own. But it's so, so important because that's when you can really quiet your mind and get into your heart. And, you know, I have a really strong connection to the spirit, and I'm so thankful that I have that connection because I don't know where I'd be if I didn't have that level of communication and understanding that I'm protected and that I'm safe and that I'm loved no matter what's happening around me, what kind of chaos is happening and what the people around me are doing. And I just am coming across this here right now. Be real, be yourself, be unique, be true, be honest, be humble, and be happy. This is how you get to wholeness. And it's just by simply being these things, not doing for others, not people pleasing, not looking to others to validate you, by learning how to be this within yourself so that you can put out the proper feminine or masculine energy into the world, right? Wow, and I'm looking at my nails match my hair. I thought this was pink and this is purple. How can that be? Wow, so just some synchronicities there. I don't know. I think that's it. This is 22:22 on the clock. Holy bananas. Number synchronicities again. 2's on 2, 4, 6, 8. Oh my gosh, that all adds up to 8. But if you break that down, 4 and 4, like 4 is all about stability, foundation, practicality, security, reliability, law and order, grounded energy. I really don't feel like she had that in her life. Not for very long anyways. And it's all really about, you know, when you can get really grounded and stable within your own energy and heal the wounds, look at the stuff, cry the things out, ask yourself if that's really resonating with you, heal that shit that you've been through. That's when you can really get grounded in your own energy and you can start manifesting better people, unconditional love, things like that. It's really hard to manifest the good things in life, people that are going to love you unconditionally, jobs that are going to be safe and stable for you and not take advantage of you when you're in an unhealed space. So a lot of number synchronicities. 8 is the theme of the day. And if you don't know much about numerology, numbers are everywhere. There's 4 corners to a house or 7 days in a week. You know, the moon phases all go in numbers. Like, it's just the energy there. I mean, the divine realm made us, made numbers, made the universe, made everything that exists, right? So numbers are just kind of a foundational pillar of the universe. They're not random. The numbers 1 through 9 kind of tell a story and they build upon one another. So each of us kind of cycles through different stages in our life and evolution for our souls want to grow and learn. And our soul chooses which numbers are going to influence us in our life before we're born. That's what I believe. Each number has a different energy vibration and influence and meant to help us master life here. So it's just an energy. It's not a mandate or a template, not meant to control, but rather to influence and help you understand yourself. And each number has a value. And like I said, I was channeling a lot of 8s today. And like I said, it was 22:22 on the clock. And 2s even are about partnerships. Like, I just don't really feel like she had anybody in her corner that stayed the long haul. And when you have those kinds of disappointments in your life, it's really a call to be that your own partner for your own self, that no matter what's happening around you, you're safe, you're good. Not that you're not going to experience grief or sadness if you lose things, of course not, but your core foundation is still going to be strong in who you are, and your connection to spirit and the divine is really where it's at. So let's channel Marilyn Monroe's energy and heal ourselves and get good on our own and go outward into the world as a whole complete being, so we can draw in the right kinds of things. And we're here to teach. You know, the feminine energy is here to help the masculine, and masculine to help us, you know, to the feminine. It's meant to be balanced. And this was really beautiful. I'm so honored. Thank you, Marilyn. Namaste, for being with us today and helping us remember, like, when did she die? 1964, was it? Oh, you know, it's interesting too. She was really struggling at the end of her life. Fox News, or not Fox News, Fox dismissed her from the movie that she was in, Something's Gotta Give, in June of 1962. And by August 5th, she was found dead. So she might have been really, her soul might have been really screaming out for this kind of healing after failed marriages and miscarriages and abortion and mom leaving and like all these things, dad not knowing who dad was, like all these traumas accumulated and had to go somewhere. And I don't know if I believe her death was a suicide. I believe she was trying to cope. She probably couldn't sleep. Like, her inner demons were probably really screaming at her to heal. And if she just kept on that train of movies and, you know, not really getting within, and maybe she didn't know to take that time off from the movie to heal and really go within and address some of these. And most of the time people go to drugs and alcohol or sex or work or exercise as coping mechanisms. So I guess I can't speak for her death if it was a suicide or not. They're saying it was a probable suicide, but she was taking sedatives to sleep. So my guess is she was haunted in the night and in the day as well. And like I said, when I was out on my front porch today, the light was bothering me. Like, I normally love the sun. I'm a sun baby, but I couldn't tolerate it today when I was trying to channel. And it was like too much. It was like too much light going on me. And maybe because she is a light being, like, it was just too much glaring, shining on all her wounds. And she just kept accumulating more wounds, you know, too, like moving to another relationship or having, you know, the abortion. Like, she just kept kind of escaping, and the miscarriages, like she just kind of kept adding more traumas on top of it. And it was like just too much for her to handle. And back then we weren't really aware of energy as much, and how to heal. And mental illness was still really, really new, not new, but not understood as much. And I feel like had she lived now, she might have been able to get the help that she needs. So let's help her and wish her well on her soul journey, wherever that ends up leading her. And we're so thankful. I'm so thankful for her wisdom and the experiences that she had to teach us, so maybe we can avoid some of these same pitfalls ourselves. Okay, I'm going to go. Finally, 27:56 on the clock right now. Actually, 27:57. 10:10 there if you add up the numbers. So, wait, 27:57. No, I don't know if that's not right. I'm not going to forget that. Okay, I'm going to go. All right, I'll be back with another message. Hope you like the wig. If not, oh well. All right, bye.